Hello and welcome to another episode of Deeping Dive into Web3 ETH Denver Edition. Today we have a team from Texas talking about how they have built their community in the the zone of US in the US market in Texas, as well as what are they currently building. So with that we have Nick James here to talk to us about Web3 Earth as well as Web3 Texas, the two companies that he's currently building. Hey, hi Nick, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, there is a slight
All
internet
right.
lag, but I guess it's. I hope you're. I'm audible to you.
Yeah, you are. You're good.
Okay, amazing. So Nick, why don't you tell us about what has your journey been like? Okay, when did you enter the space? What made you enter the space, and what has basically um, made you stick around as well in the industry?
Absolutely. I'd be happy to. So, my name is Nick James. I'm the founder of Web3Earth. We are a registered 501c3 nonprofit here in the United States. And frankly, my journey started a very long time ago. A very long time ago, in terms of how long Web3 has been a concept or an industry itself. Okay. I've spent 15 years in cybersecurity. And so I like to say I've been securing Web 2 for 15 years. and so now around 2017, much like many, I feel like that was a little too late, but I wish it was had been earlier. A friend of mine encouraged me to buy some Ethereum, so I did. I didn't understand what it was, and so I did, and I left it, and I forgot about it. And then, fast forward, I had still been researching between 2017 and 2020, a little bit here and there. But once the pandemic hit, a lot of people got a lot of time back on their hands without having to commute or going to the office. So this is around the time I really started to increase the time I spent on researching Web3 technologies and understanding cryptocurrency and understanding NFTs. And so I watched the industry, and then I really picked up interest once I started to see a number of different news articles come into my sphere in the
Okay.
cybersecurity industry of breaches and hacks in the millions of dollars. So, this really caught my attention, and this is when I started taking things very seriously. Um, and so understanding the sort of the cybersecurity components and issues that industry, the Web3 industry is facing, I chose to really fully immerse myself in this space and understand it and really deeply learn it, learn the technology, learn the different standards, just so, I can enact some change and make, an impact in the area. So in 2022, I decided to start a meetup here locally in Dallas called Web3 Texas.
Okay.
And the reason I started it is because I believe so much in education and its ability to truly change the trajectory of any industry, right?
Okay.
So in our last transition between Web 1 and Web 2, we didn't have any education. When we were given identities and accounts online, you know, those are just features that were introduced to us. We didn't receive any education on, what is a password? How do you create a strong one? Where do you store it? What's a phishing email? How do you spot a phishing email? The Prince of Nigeria is not your best friend. He doesn't want to send you any money. And so I think that a lot of the success the cybersecurity industries has experienced is because of the lack of education up front,
Okay.
right? So, and honestly, we're still plagued with a lot of those, bad or poor user behaviors, I'd say, nicely, that are still getting us into trouble. So I decided that maybe now during yet another transition between Web 2 and Web 3, that now might be a good time for us to stand up a public service that will provide proactive education and give people a foundation to stand upon and explore Web 3 and explore who they will become or what their next career will be in Web 3. But give them a strong foundation first, help them understand the risks so that we create well informed and risk aware citizens. And so that idea then, after the meetups started to gain popularity, then we decided to create the nonprofit, which is called Web3Earth. So you may understand, based on the name, our aspirations to go across the world and launch more chapters just like Web3 Texas. And
Okay.
that's it.
So, why don't you tell me about what is Web3 Earth all about? Like, is it only about education and awareness, or is it about also providing people a transition from the Web 2 to the Web 3 world? Okay, or is it a space where people come and build various products for the betterment of the society? So, what is the structure which Web 3 Earth brings in? Okay, and what does it
Yeah,
to offer?
that's a really great question. The best way to answer that question is Web3 Earth and its chapters locally in those geographies can mean many things to many different people. Okay,
Right.
but our mission still holds true, and it's very strong. So our mission is to make Web3 accessible to all through multi-dimensional learning experiences and value-driven communities. Okay, what that really breaks down to is that we want to provide people the ability to gain education in a language that they understand. So we keep things simplified. Okay, and we keep our education adaptive, meaning that we, excuse me, we ensure that our education is meeting all the needs of not, we don't want to call them students, we'll call them members, right? And that the value-driven communities portion of our mission is to
Hey,
really,
Nick, can you hear me?
yeah, I can
There's
hear
a
you.
slight noise from your mic. Can you just check once?
Sure. Hello, can you hear me?
No, I can. I definitely can. But there's a slight noise while you're speaking.
Oh, that's interesting. I think I'll just unplug the mic then. We'll see.
Yeah,
Can you
go
hear
ahead.
me?
Oh, way
Oh,
better.
okay, way better.
Yeah.
See, that's my computer's mic. I don't know why I paid so much money for this one.
Oh, I definitely find the Apple microphone working really well in that sort. So I
Yeah,
used to use that. I myself have a podcast mic, but it doesn't work out that well. So
yeah,
sometimes this is the best. It's handy. It's best.
yeah. It's really odd. Maybe I'll just leave it in here, just so it looks like I'm a podcaster.
Definitely, why not?
Okay,
But yeah,
so
we were talking about Web3 also.
yeah, so Web3 Earth. So our mission, like I said, is to make Web3 accessible to all through a multidimensional learning experience
Okay.
and value-driven communities, right? So the value-driven communities portion is what I was talking about. So really, what we want to do is create an environment or be the platform of platforms, meaning create an environment where other people can come and be successful in whichever way they want to be, right?
Okay.
Whether they want to be community ambassadors and lead different channels. We have an eight pronged Web3 education framework where we've organized Web3 into 8 different branches, and they can come in and be leaders in our community, or they can leverage our community simply as a jumping off point. Like, just get to a certain level of education, and then go flourish. Let proverbially, it's the bird leaving the nest, right?
Right.
Uh,
Right.
yeah, so it can be mean many things to many different people, but ultimately, what we're seeing, the biggest area of adoption is technologists who are currently in the technology industry who are looking for the next thing. They're looking to grow. They're looking to expand their knowledge base, and they keep hearing about this Web3 stuff. So they're Web3 curious, right? So they're coming here and they're figuring out how do they retool, how do they ensure sustainability of their career, how do they transform and grow, or even change careers. So
Mm.
that's a lot of what we're seeing right now, but we do open ourselves to anybody and all. And even we do have a focus on accessibility. We have a director of accessibility that evaluates our
Okay.
technology internally and externally. And what he does is he goes through an in-depth review, checking to make sure that the technology we use is in compliance with accessibility standards, specifically for the blind, deaf, and neurodiverse communities. So
Right.
when we say making accessible to all, we truly mean to all. So I think with the combination of education and a community itself, I think the word community has been used and abused in
Yeah.
the Web3 industry, unfortunately. And frankly, it's a congregation of people who are focused on a similar set of topics or subjects, right? So
Right.
that's really what the community is, and that's what we really want to do. And we want to unite people of complementary interests. So what that means is that we want to unite people that have interests that are complementary of each other, like an investor to a startup founder, right?
Okay.
Or a candidate to an employer, or vice versa, right? So those are the four profiles we're focusing on right now. But we want to reduce the distance and the friction between those two parties and bring them closer together using our communities.
So, Nick, why don't you tell me, like, what has that friction actually been? Is it the education, like lack of awareness, or is it
Yeah.
like people are not wanting to transition? What is the
Well,
main?
I'll use a good example as a founder and an investor.
Okay.
Typically, the profile of an investor is that they have money and they understand numbers and they see what's happening in this space and how much money is inflowing into the space. And but however, they lack the understanding of exactly what it is they want to invest in. Like, what's promising, what the market is supporting right now, the evolution of the market, because like Wayne Gretzky used to say, he's a famous hockey player here in the United States, and it's an investment thesis for most investors. You can't skate to where the puck is going to be. You got to skate to where the puck is going to be, right, in the future,
Right.
right? So a lot, that's what investors do, but a lot of the times they don't have an understanding of what it is they're trying to invest in. Whereas founders are typically, hopefully, extremely educated in their products and in the space overall. So now there's a point of friction there where a founder is speaking a different language than the investors, right? So
Right.
we try to reduce that friction by bringing the investor up to a certain level of knowledge and helping reduce the distance between those two people and helping them meet. It's almost like matchmaking on a dating site.
Right. Right. Amazing. That's definitely amazing. But so to understand both Web3 Earth and Web3 Texas play a role in this. Like Web3 Earth, okay, from my understanding, is Web3 Earth a larger, a large scale application of Web3 Texas? Is that it?
Yeah, it's the parent company. Yeah. So Web3
Right.
Texas is the chapter of Web3.
Okay.
That's it.
Amazing. So, Nick, do you have something you would want to share via screen? Anything you would want to show to the people for Web3 Earth in per se?
Sure. Yeah, I'm happy to. Let me bring it up here. So
And
this
you
is
can definitely talk about it.
I run, although it's a nonprofit, I run it very much like
Just a
um,
moment. We'll
a
just have
startup.
it on screen.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring it up.
Just let us know as soon as it's shared. We'll bring it on screen.
Yep, I'm sharing now.
Okay. Can we have it on screen?
Yep, it
No,
should be
like
shown.
it should. It's on the back end. That's right.
Can you see it?
I'll let you know. Okay. So you
You can
can
see
put it
it.
on screen.
I thought I did. Hang on.
No, Nick, you have it's from the back end. Yeah, now it's here.
Okay, you see it now.
Yes. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, great. So this is our pitch deck. So a lot of what I've already talked to you about is really on this slide. So this is really who we are. So this is a breakdown of the mission statement. Like I said, our mission statement is very important to us. And to your question that you just asked about, the difference between Web3 Earth and Web3 Texas. So the idea is that here in Texas, we've built a successful footprint. It
Okay.
contains within it a set of mature business processes. It contains a set of mature educational content and a mature technology stack that we can copy and paste in any geography with minor changes to geographic nuances, and really help other people deploy similar things. Our focus is really on the physical, not so much the digital. So what our vision is to grow the largest global network of physical interconnected Web3 communities, where we're creating well-informed and risk-aware citizens. Okay?
Right.
That
Right.
makes sense.
No, this is amazing.
So this is a great visual, I think, to help people understand why we're doing this. Right, we're
Okay.
building to the next billion customers. If we continue to create these echo chambers, like a lot of these conferences are, where we're just inviting Web3 people to be with other Web3 people,
Right.
we're not going to have any customers for all the stuff that we're building, right?
Correct.
Then that's a big issue. So we have to help people understand what the true value of Web3 is, right? The value of Web3 is in its ability to truly digitally empower the individual, whether that means
Definitely.
helping them with data sovereignty or self-sovereign identity or even self-custodying their digital assets. As you can see on the right, we have a lot of work to do.
Right.
The
Definitely.
total population on Earth is about 8 billion. I forgot I believe about 60, 70, 60 or 50% have access to internet. Only 4% of the 8 billion are crypto owners. Um,
Hmm.
and only 26% of the 4% actually self-custody their assets. Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
as we saw with the the fall of all of these centralized exchanges, self-custody assets is a very important factor that we need to be teaching people on how to do. So this is our onboarding model is truly about educating, equipping, and empowering, and help with that, and that leads to adoption. So we started as point of zero, not assumed knowledge, and we create a pathway for people to reach a certain point. So people like structure, and we offer structure.
Right.
Like I said before, our goal is to provide a baseline level of basic knowledge and tooling, so tools like technology, necessary to make well-informed and risk-aware decisions. So going back to your point on, where are we going next, right? So we
Right.
started here in Texas, in the great state of Texas, and we're looking at Florida. We have options in Illinois, and we have a very firm commitment in Utah. So that's where we're going next.
Nice. That's good.
Here's what we and you'll notice the consistent branding. Branding is not important to a lot of people, but to me, it's very important. If you notice the Web3 Earth logo, the Web3 Texas logo, Utah, Illinois, Florida, it you understand where it came from. Everything came from Web3 Earth because the branding is very consistent. It's just the geography changes.
Right. Right.
So here are a few of our accomplishments. We've hosted 15 events with an average attendance of 70 people. Over 500 members on Meetup.com. More than 2,000 digital followers. 14 professional volunteers. I've been interviewed on Nasdaq Trade Talks and CoinDesk, and we have 7 corporate sponsors. These are the corporate sponsors. With our flagship sponsor being Toyota Connected, I think with the support of these early sponsors, we were able to get to where we are today.
Right.
Our team has experience from a number of very large and prominent technology organizations across the world. This is just a few of the different places that our team members come from.
Definitely. It's amazing.
We have pre-built education, so we start off with history of money, and you see a lot of these are all very introductory. We even talk about accessibility in Web3, digital wallets and security, NFTs, the basics of blockchain. This is that Web3 framework, the education framework I was talking about. So we've
Okay.
categorized Web3 into these 8. We have a few changes we have to make, but for the most part, this is accurate of our understanding. So legal and tax, finance. You'll see the sub branches there: non-fungible tokens, infrastructure, security, business marketing, and the metaverse. And onboarding is a 10 branch, and identity as well. It's a huge topic. And
Amazing.
all of this is more about becoming an individual member and a corporate member. So
Right.
that's more of the introductory stuff. So I'll stop short.
Yeah. We can put the share screen off screen. Off screen. Right. Just a moment. We'll be back there. Right. So Nick, I read of the concept where like what you're currently doing with Web3Texas and Web3Earth. Okay, with that, would you want to share any learnings that you have had in the recent years in building the community, in establishing it, and as you go ahead, okay, any particular principles you're following, any learning that you would want everyone to know about?
Yeah, our focus is very much on bringing new people into it. I think that a lot of what I've really learned is, in order to help people understand what's happening here, you have to be able to relate it back to something they already understand. I think that's a common, educational
Right,
approach. But it's also very hard to do because although a lot of what's in Web3 is just an abstraction or a derivation of what we've built in Web2, it's very hard to understand what it means to own a digital asset because for so long we've renounced our ownership of our digital assets, our intellectual property, the corporation, right? So I like to tell people that we've been renting space on someone else's server. And so when we sign up for accounts like, let's say, Facebook or Instagram, we don't read the terms and conditions, but in there we're granting limited license of our intellectual property, right, to these large organizations. And they are free to monetize on it and on us through advertising any which way they please. Right?
right,
I always say if the product is free, you are the product. Right? That's so I think helping people understand what ownership truly means has been sort of the biggest challenge. But we have a number of assets that we've used in our education to really help people truly understand this new concept of ownership.
right. Okay, that's pretty amazing. I guess like somewhere understanding that there are things that we can also own. Despite like basically, let's say we're putting out content out there, right? It's ours, but technically it's not ours. Okay, so as of now in Web2 space, but in Web3 we can have ownership of that as well, right?
Correct.
And with that, I feel one of the main like there are different learnings every founder has. Okay, with their journey. Okay, and I guess you have had yours, and it totally relates to the ownership part, and I certainly relate to it because somewhere I feel that it's the same age group of people controlling the same things, but why not I control my own things, right? I
Yeah.
have ownership of my own things, right? So I totally respect that, and with that, Nick, thank you so much for joining us today. It was great knowing about your vision, what you're trying to build in Texas, as well as how you are wanting to expand it across the globe. Okay,
Yep.
I really wish all the best to you, and thank you for coming and joining us for today.
Yeah. And
If
if
there's anything what you
yeah,
want to say, you can go ahead.
yeah, just in closing, we're going to be opening up our community. We've partnered with Mighty Networks, which is a very much safer and much more user-friendly version of Discord.
Okay.
We're going to be opening up our community soon to the world, to the public. Yeah, I'd love for people to join us and follow us. So please go to this link tree. Right, so it's linktr.ee/web3tx, Web3 Texas.
Okay.
So any announcements about Web3 Earth will come through Web3 Texas. Okay?
Amazing. Don't worry, Nick. We'll share it over. Okay.
Yeah.
When we market along these things, we'll definitely put that link over there so that people can know about the expansion of Web3 Texas and Web3 Earth. Okay.
Yep. Yeah,
Uh,
we're very much looking forward to our partnership with Recorem, and where Recorem will be a part of that, bringing candidates closer with employers, right? So I think I'm really excited about
Definitely.
the partnership.
No,
Thank
definitely.
you.
We're looking forward to it.
Yeah,
Um, I certainly feel there's a lot of enthusiasm in both the teams to take this lead ahead and partnership, and definitely we'll work for the best.
perfect. It was really a pleasure meeting you. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you so much.